Hello and welcome to The Homemade Songwriter. I'm Matt, and today we're going to talk about John Mayer's new album, Sob Rock. Now, I'm always amazed by how, with every new album, there seems to be a new style or even a new genre that John Mayer tackles, yet through all of it, he seems to maintain a certain Mayer-ness. It still sounds like him, whether it's rock or country or blues or pop, and Sob Rock is no exception to the rule. This album has sort of an 80s bent with sort of a mix of sounds, really. It's fun, it's self-aware, and it's full of a lot of great moments. And the other thing that I love right out of the gate with this album is that there seems to be a piece of every single album in John's past within this album. You know, there's a little country from the Paradise Valley, Born and Raised era, there's some pop from Room for Squares, and there's a self-awareness like The Search for Everything. There's sort of that warmth production value of Battle Studies, and always a little signature Continuum blues. So overall, A+, very happy to see him put out new music and to still be creating at such a high level. Now today we're going to find out if John's songwriting on Sob Rock passes the litmus test. If you don't know what that is, we have a whole series on it, but it's basically our system for determining whether a song is good or bad. Now the short answer here is yes, obviously. Obviously John's songs pass the litmus test. He is very good at what he does. He's been doing it a very long time. But today I want to show you why it passes, and hopefully you can learn something and be able to apply it to your own songwriting. Now I'm going to showcase 3 particular songs for the 3 parts of the litmus test, but I just can't make this video without talking about Shot in the Dark. It's probably my favorite on the album. It's catchy, it's fun, and the music video is very tongue-in-cheek, shows a lot of John's humor, which I really appreciate. The song also has my favorite moment of the entire album. It comes at about 2 minutes and 37 seconds into the song. Right as they're going into the bridge kind of solo section, John hits a "Come On Now" and goes straight into some pretty awesome dance moves.
It's just another shot in the dark.
Pretty awesome dance. But alright, let's get into the litmus test. The first song I want to talk about is Carry Me Away. This song, in my opinion, is lyrically interesting. The song is about someone longing for more and wanting to get carried away into a life of adventure. Now, there are a million ways to write that song, but John writes it where instead of finding that kind of life, you're finding someone. He personifies that wildness that he's looking for. So in the first verse, he kind of contrasts it with himself. He says, "I'm such a bore, I'm such a bummer." And he asks, "Take me out, keep me up all night, let me live on the wilder side of life." Now, automatically, that's an interesting way of telling this story, right? So the songwriting tip here is to find the angle on your story that will allow people to connect with it. Maybe not everyone can relate to the feeling of wanting to live a wilder life, but everybody can relate to the feeling of wanting somebody. And another way that he makes this song lyrically interesting comes in the barrage of metaphors he uses in the second verse. I mean, listen to these words. "You carnivore, you loose cannon, can I have some more? I can't understand it. You fast car, you foolish spender, you know you are and I surrender. So come on over and wake me up, put some of your tequila in my coffee cup. You know I need you and that's for sure. You're just the kind of crazy I've been looking for." So in the beginning of that verse, when he's saying like, "You carnivore, you fast car," all those things, he's painting a picture with metaphors, right? And what metaphors do is they serve to make a more engaged audience, because as you're painting the picture with these words, the audience has to kind of lean in and think about what you're saying, picture it, and figure out what the meaning is behind that metaphor. That creates an engaged listener, and the payoff when they figure out what you're talking about is much greater than if you just kind of spoon-fed them the information. Because songwriting is an art, not a transfer of information. Songs tell us something, yes, but in a way that engages us and makes us feel something. Now, this is just one song of many on the album, but lyrically interesting? Pass. Okay, let's move on to Thematic Melody, the second test of the litmus test. Thematic melody is when your music matches your message and it reinforces the main idea of the song to your listener. And for this test, I want to look at the song I Guess I Just Feel Like. Another song I love on the album. This sound of it kind of reminds me of a song that would live in the same world as like a Lord Huron song. Kind of that reverb-drenched cowboy type song, but in like a modern context. It's super cool, but what's really cool is how he uses the music to reinforce the message of his lyrics in the song. Let's look at verse 1 together. The verse kind of starts with these chords that are kind of reflective, they're happy. And the words come in.
I guess I just feel like. I guess I just feel like that nobody's honest.
That point goes to a chord that's got a little more strength behind it, a little more emotional weight behind it, paired with the words, "Nobody's honest."
Nobody's true, everyone's lying to make it on through.
And back.
I guess I just feel like.
Back to more reflective.
I'm the same way too.
It's like Like, he can't be angry at it anymore if he's feeling the same way that he's doing it too, right? He can't be angry that everyone's lying if he's lying too. Back to that reflective tone. So see how he kind of uses that music to switch between those two tones, and it backs up the lyrics to kind of give them more power? That's thematic melody. Now, the other cool example of this in this song is the solo section. Now, the solo section kind of bounces back and forth between this happy sounding, like a really bright sounding happy chord, and then a really dark sounding angry sad chord. And it kind of almost contextualizes the whole song as like this back and forth between what I'm thinking. He's just kind of stream of consciousness, here are my thoughts, and it goes this way, it goes that way, it goes happy, it goes sad, you know, all over the board. It's just kind of this back and forth, and the music is there to kind of reinforce that and restate that idea, but with music. So, thematic melody, pass. Okay, let's move to the final test of the litmus test, universal storytelling. We're going to look at the song, Shouldn't Matter, But It Does. This song is beautiful and devastating. It's a song about love lost, love that could have been but never was. So universal storytelling is telling your story in a way that everybody can relate to via the common life themes that everybody experiences. So love lost, love that could have been but never was, is definitely one of those common life themes. Now, important distinction. Universal storytelling does not mean generic storytelling. It's still John's story, right? There's still details and truths of John's story that are in the song. For example, let's look at verse 3. In verse 3, he says, I shouldn't leave you messages in every little song. Now, not all of us are John Mayer with a worldwide audience and tons of studio albums that were leaving little clues to love lost, right? That's a detail from John's life and John's story, but it's still something that we can relate to. If you're in a situation of love lost, then you can understand reaching out in little ways, hoping to get some kind of response. That kind of universal storytelling allows us as a listener to put our story into the story of the song, which makes it important to us. It makes us want to listen to it over and over again for healing. It makes us want to share it. It's how you build an audience that feels like they know you because they've been through the same things you've been through. Universal storytelling is how you use your music to help people. So it's safe to say he passed this test too. Okay, that's it. If you want to dive deeper on any of these tips or into the litmus test, then you can check out our series on the litmus test or any of our other songwriting videos. If you're new here, this channel is all about songwriting and music. Our goal is to simplify songwriting because we love it and we want to help you do it better. We also have some free resources in the description if you are looking to start writing songs or if you're in your songwriting journey but you're stuck. This will get you out of that writer's block rut. So check that out if you're interested. It's all free. All right, that's it for this one. Keep writing. We'll see you in the next one.